I was going to film myself, but I don't see the value in that, so I'm just going to talk because I'm shocked that all these quote-unquote UFC or MMA pundits or alleged gurus or what the fuck they want to call themselves didn't point out why Alexander Volkanovski lost. Yes. Ilia Topuria is a great fighter. Yes, he caught him in the second round. I'm not taking anything away from Ilia Topuria, who's absolutely freaking amazing, and I mean, he won. He is the new featherweight champion. Great. Now, I think that people forget what Alexander Volkanovski did. Like, he took out Max Holloway 3 times when he didn't have to. A lot of controversy in that first fight. He definitely won. And of course, he won decisively the second one and the third one. So come on. Then he took out Brian Ortega when it looked like Ortega was going to submit him 2 or 3 times. He got out of some really bad positions. I think he got out of a triangle, a rear naked choke, and maybe an armbar or something. I don't remember. But either way, he got out of it. So he proved his wrestling skills, completely demolished and walked over Ching Chang Chung, the fucking Korean zombie, whatever you want to call him. And of course, he took out Yair Rodriguez in his last fight in that division, which no one seems to remember. And his first fight with Islam Makhachev was very close. It was very close. And he did a lot of damage to Islam Makhachev, striking-wise. And Islam could not finish him in that first fight. And right after that is when he defended his belt against Yair. And then he took a short notice fight, which basically changed everything with Alexander Volkanovski's career. And I could prove it right now. And I'm going to try to show you some footage. If YouTube blocks me, well, I guess YouTube doesn't want to give a guy like me an opportunity to shed some light on the situation, because this is the truth. And not one person, I mean, come on, guys, you had a few days to analyze this fucking thing. And you're going to tell me that no one saw that Alexander Volkanovski completely changed his style against Ilia Topuria? And it had nothing to do with him fearing Ilia. I mean, the guy got knocked out. He got head kicked. And I guess he felt the need to change his style, but I think it was something else. So take a look at him fighting Yair Rodriguez. Now, pay attention very carefully to his style. He's very mobile. He doesn't maintain southpaw nor conventional. He switches back and forth. Look at the way he's feinting. Up, down, right? He's showing, a level change. He doesn't do it. Then he has a flurry. He has a very distinct flurry where he throws two straight hands, and then he does like a little ducking move, and he does an overhead opposite hook. He didn't do any of this stuff in the Ilia Topuria fight. Like, zero. He didn't do any of this stuff. Instead, it looked like he was primarily focused on being in the conventional stance, leading with his left, which that's not his comfortable hand. His comfortable hand is leading with his, leading with his right hand, and then, using that left in the back for power. So, the southpaw stance. But he's very mobile in the Yair Rodriguez fight, and he's very stiff in the Ilia Topuria fight. And you could tell that he's doing things very different. I mean, just look at the way he's stiff, right? He's not even moving his back, which, I said earlier that I think it was something else. It looks like he has some type of lower back injury. And I don't know if he suffered a spine injury during training camp, or whether he didn't recover from that head kick enough, or something changed in his brain chemistry, which, I mean, like, you could tell he's having a very hard time with his mobility. He's not doing any feints. He's not ducking down. He's not showing a level change. And by the way, although he does use kicks, he primarily uses that lower leg kick. He's done this in every fight before Ilia Topuria. He will go after the calf, and he would do a lot of calf kicks, a lot of lower leg kicks. And what you see here is that it's almost like he's changing his style to what beat him in the second Islam Makhachev fight, which is, Makhachev set him up by doing a series of front kicks, low kick, front kick, high kick, front kick. It was a lot of kicks to keep him at a distance. And it looked like that he was trying to employ that against Ilia, but it wasn't working. Then you look in the middle of the round, and he starts having a lot of success with that jab, because Ilia's just walking right through, and he's getting punched in the face. So then we get to round 2, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's going to wake up. Maybe his coach is going to see, hey, man, he's doing something very fucking different. I got to tell him to get back to that, that original mobile Volkanovski, unless his coach, I think his name is Joe Lopez, knew that he had an injury, knew that they were changing something up, because nothing changed in the second round. He was still stiff Volkanovski. I've never seen Alexander Volkanovski fight so stiff. I've never seen him be so timid with switching to that fucking southpaw stance. And he's completely stiff. He was a different fighter. I don't know if his coach told him, hey, listen, you were having some success with that jab, so why don't you just unload with striking, which is a very stupid move, because, I mean, Ilia's taller than him, but then again, who isn't? And he wasn't that stupid against Max Holloway. Like, he has this flurry attack. He has like a three sequence attack. It's like 2 straights and then an overhand, 2 straights and overhand. Never does this once against Ilia Topuria. Zero. No fakes, completely stiff, completely different Alexander Volkanovski. And guess what? Puts himself in that corner, no lateral movement whatsoever. And then he gets everyone's like, oh my God, it was a devastating hook that took him out. No. Please look at this sequence very carefully. Look at what happens, right? I mean, a very good sequence of punches from Ilia, but he got lucky. lucky with one shot. I'm going to show you what shot he got lucky with. You see that right body shot, then he hits him in the head with a left. Look at the overhand right and where it catches Volkanovski, on the back of the head. That's the punch that stunned him. That's why Volkanovski had no response when that right hand came, except to go down. Now, the right hand is what knocked him out, but the one that stunned him and set him up for that right, which, again, it was a masterful shot, and I don't think Ilia Topuria was going for the back of the head. That's just inadvertently where it landed. You know, that's a very stunning thing. It's like if you go back and you look at Matt Serra versus George St. Pierre, the reason why Matt Serra won, again, he wasn't going for the back of the head, you know, but he hit GSP in the back of the head, and that was it. I mean, the fight was over after that. That was the punch that did it, but everyone's looking at that big right and like, oh my God, he took out Alexander Volkanovski. Listen, Volkanovski was at like 50%. Ilia Topuria was at 100%, obviously. He was ready to go. He was fired up, and it looked like Volkanovski, even in the, you know, he was having fun with the old man thing, and he was talking about, you know, he's going to sleep and everything, and I thought it was really funny, but you could tell by the way he was talking that he really had something to prove, and I thought he was going to go in there and say, you know what, I'm going to treat this like I fought Max Holloway, like I fought Brian Ortega, like I fought Ching Chang Chung, the fucking Korean zombie, like I fought Yair Rodriguez, I don't forgetting someone else that he dominated, and I'm just going to fucking do what I used to do. Instead, he came in with a new, just fucked up version of Volkanovski, and I can't say, I just don't believe that he was scared of Ilia Topuria. I just don't think he's scared of Ilia Topuria. That's not what it is. Anyone who has a trained MMA eye and has watched the UFC for an appreciable amount of time like I have, you're going to recognize that Volkanovski was not the Volkanovski that we used to. It just wasn't. And by the way, you know what's really funny is that, and this is actually a good thing, I see a lot of fans saying, oh my God, the UFC is not going to be the same with Volkanovski not being champion. And I don't really see the little bitches coming out and saying, oh yeah, whatever, you know, he's a piece of shit. Because every single time he won, it was like, no matter how many times he proved himself, you guys just fucking hated him. It's like he beat your boy Max Holloway 3 times, you hated him. He beat Pretty Boy Ortega, turned him into a fucking taco, you hated him. He beat the Korean zombie, you hated him. Why? Because you like the Korean zombie, because he's a nice guy. But when he beat Yair, it was almost like, okay, well, you know, Volkanovski's definitely the best. But then when he gets head kicked by fucking Islam Makhachev, you see, he's not that good. Look, he moved up a fucking weight class. It was short notice. He probably should not have taken that fight. And I do agree with what Volkanovski said. If it was a different Volkanovski that I saw, that, yeah, you know, he kind of did put in a lot of work and he does deserve the rematch. But I really don't want to see this version of Volkanovski rematch Ilia Topuria at all. I want to see Yair Rodriguez versus Ilia Topuria, because that's going to show me what Topuria is really made of. Because, I mean, let's face it, you know, the only person who made Yair look weak was Volkanovski. So I want to see that fight. And I do believe that should be the next fight that's in the featherweight division. And then maybe Volkanovski takes 6 months off to regroup, and then he makes a comeback. And, you know, he's not old. You know, he was playing on the old man thing because he's older than all these other guys. But I mean, weren't there champions recently? Like a Glover Teixeira who got, like, you know, the belt at 42 or 45 or whatever fucking age. I mean, look at fucking John Jones in the heavyweight division. He's not exactly fucking young. And, you know, there's a lot of older guys out there who are doing fucking great. So it's not that. I mean, to me, it really just looks like an injury. And he was doing his best to hide it, but he wasn't level changing. He was incredibly stiff. Just look at how stiff he is against Ilia Topuria. Look, I mean, there's practically zero footwork. I mean, you know, he's doing this weird stutter step, kind of reminiscent of Adesanya. And, you know, he's just not built like Adesanya, so that shit's not going to work for him because his legs aren't that tall. So, you know, he's not going to be able to cover much room. But man, it's like just look at the difference in his mobility and his activity and like his feints, and, like, you know, you see the way he was faking the rear uppercut. You see the way he's ducking down. It looks like he's going to go for a level change. And then you see this flurry, this, you know, again, this like double straight and like an overhand fucking right or overhand backhand, whatever. He wasn't doing any of this fucking shit in the Ilia Topuria fight. So for those of you guys that are really happy for Ilia Topuria winning, great. Look, I mean, the guy proved himself. He's a great fighter. I mean, I watched him come up. I didn't like the way he was in the fucking press conference, because that was a completely different Ilia than what I saw before. He was just being an arrogant prick, and he really didn't need to be that guy. But, you know, I guess he wanted to be the villain. He likes being the villain. He has something to prove. Great, you have the belt. I hope you defend it at least once. And, you know, I think him versus Yair is going to be a real fucking test. I want to see Yair Rodriguez versus fucking Ilia Topuria. And, you know, in terms of Max Holloway, the only reason why Max Holloway is on my mind is because he moved to a different weight class to fight Justin Gaethje, which, I don't know. I'm not really interested in that fight because Justin's going to fucking light this guy up. I mean, it's just going to be over for Max Holloway. So Max doesn't stand a fucking chance against Gaethje. So you can bet on that one. But in terms of Volkanovski, man, he better go back to that old Volkanovski, because whatever this fucking new one was, I hope it's an injury. I hope that he admits that he has an injury at some point. Maybe he's, he's doing that stupid thing that UFC fighters do, which is, now because these fucking casual fans coming out, oh, he's trying to blame the injury for not being 100%. Like, it's so obvious that you little bitches never fucking fought, because trust me, injuries can change your entire fucking style, especially when it's a bad fucking injury. And it looks like this is, I mean, I hope it's something temporary that like he can fix his back, but I don't believe he went in there 100%. I think he had a back injury, and I think that's why he looked like complete shit against Ilia Topuria. And combined with the fact that he just got head kicked by Islam Makhachev, he might have been, he might have thought that he needed to change his style and just not switch up as often and not be as active. But look, man, congrats to Ilia Topuria. You are the new featherweight champion. Volkanovski, keep your fucking head up. let's get back in there. Let's regroup. Joe Lopez, you better fucking do the right thing and tell your boy, listen, man, go back to that old style, because that's the only thing. That's the only way that Volkanovski is gonna be able to turn this around, is if he goes back to the old Volkanovski, doesn't try this fucking stiff fighting stance. And look, dude, if you're hurt, just come out and say you're fucking hurt. No one cares at this point, but just say that you're fucking hurt, so at least you could tell us, man, oh, that's why he was all fucked up. And you don't gotta prove anything to anyone, but just make a fucking comeback and show me the old Volkanovski. I don't even care if you never win the belt again. Just fucking come back, fight, and show us the Volkanovski that you definitely were before, because whoever this fucking guy was that fought Ilia Topuria, that wasn't Volkanovski. That was like Alexander Volkanovski -1 or some shit.